Hey, how you doing? It's Laura Evans here from Unleash Your Potential, helping people like you to unleash your potential in business and life. And this week I'm going live every day. Apologies, it's a bit later today, to explore with you some of the benefits of studying NLP. So yesterday I spoke about the benefits for business and communications and relationships, and the role of beliefs and values in business success. So if you didn't see that, go back and check the live from yesterday. Today I want to talk more specifically about what NLP did for me when I was back in my HR and L&D days. So as some of you may be aware, I spent almost 15 years in the HR profession. So I started out as a young grad out of uni. I worked my way all the way up to head of HR, and along the way did various different HR roles, from HR business partner roles to HR manager roles. I finished up doing a head of HR role. I did various L&D and management development roles along the way. And so I very much was an HR generalist. And a lot of the people that come to train with me in NLP are from the HR industry, or coaches, or other business professionals, from accountants to IT managers, senior managers, middle managers, specialists, from all sorts of industries. We've got a director of a housing association going through the courses at the moment. We've had consultants from hospitals. Anyway, that's a whole other video about the variety of people that we get, but we get a lot of business professionals, and that's because of my business background. So I thought today I would do a little bit around what difference did it make for me in NLP, so in HR, can't get my words out. So I'm going to be going through our course brochure. Here it is. I'll put the link after the video below so that you can go and access the course brochure. And in here, you'll find the details of all the courses that we run. I'm going to be focusing on the NLP practitioner course today. And what I've done ahead of going live is I've actually gone through and I've highlighted some of the things that I think made a big difference for me in HR and L&D at the time. So I thought, do you know what? Why don't I share this with you, because a lot of the people that follow me on my social media platforms are HR, L&D, or other professional people in business, and so I think you'll find this useful. Now, the first thing that struck me when I was going through the course content, thinking, right, what really made a difference for me when I was in HR? One of the things was communication and understanding how people think. And so if as the communicator or as the leader of an organization, I can understand how someone else's mind ticks, then I can be of much better service to them, and I can be way more influential. So here we've got, so one of the bullet points, there's 130 benefits of a practitioner course, by the way. I'm not going through all 130. But number one here, so we've got in here, how the world is represented inside our mind, understanding visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and auditory digital rep systems. Now, what does that mean to you and me? Essentially, I talked about this yesterday. We all have a preferred way of thinking. We have a preferred way of processing information around us and inside of us, then we make sense of it. So that was really, really useful because I could start to communicate to other people in a way that worked for them. So if my business partner I was working with was a visual person, I sat there and I thought, right, if I know the visual, how could I better communicate my message to them so that it would come across really well and much more easily for them so they'd understand it. It says here how to use predicates to take communication to a new level. So every rep system has a cluster of words that we call predicates that belong to each of the rep systems. And so again, when I was chatting to people, whether it was in emails or on Messenger, on the phone, face to face, it didn't matter. If I could work out someone's preferences were, I could start to deliver the HR advice or the stuff we were talking about in a much better way. Another point that we've got here on this list, so if you're just joining me, I'm going through the course content for the practitioner course, explaining the difference it made for me in HR. Understanding beliefs. Now, that was massive because so many people hold themselves back in their career and in business because they don't believe they're good enough or they don't believe they're capable. So they maybe don't trust themselves. They maybe don't think they're good enough. Maybe they don't think they deserve it. Maybe they don't think they're worthy. And there's all sorts of things. And for me personally, I used to have a limiting belief of I couldn't do presentations. Now, you'll probably look at this video now and go, really. Yes, seriously. I used to stand up in front of and do board presentations and things like that, and I would literally be quaking in my boots. Then I found NLP, and I ran a load of processes, including a belief change that I could present, as well as learning NLP presentation topics, like how to stand, how to structure the presentation, not for the conscious mind, which is how we usually get taught to present, but for the unconscious mind, so that those messages go in. Because in NLP, we talk a lot about how the unconscious mind, if you're not sure what that is, it's the part of you that runs your heart rate, your hormones, and your breathing, right? So the unconscious mind controls your behavior. And so if you want to help people get different outcomes in their career, their business, their team, and so on, if you can identify they have a limiting belief, and then you can do something to challenge that linguistically or with a technique, that was really helpful. And so it helped me as an HR professional really start to understand what was going on in the heads of the people I was working with. And you think, well, yeah, maybe they're not doing it because they don't believe they can. And I started to listen out for limiting beliefs in the way that people spoke. In NLP, we have the difference between what we call the surface level structure of language and the deep level of structure. And what comes out of people's mouths is the words, but that's the tail end of the deep structure at the unconscious level. A lot of people say to me, Laura, how do you turn off this internal chatter? Because so many people that have done NLP talk about the fact that actually I overthink things, I get conflicted thinking, and I know because it used to be me too. But the truth of the matter is, if we go into the deep structure of the unconscious mind and actually change the limiting beliefs so that you believe something entirely different, then the internal chatter sorts itself. So, it's not like I install a little volume control in your head. I mean, I wish it was that easy, but it's not. But actually, if we get rid of the noise at the deep structure level, those limiting beliefs and internal conflicts that people have, then actually the internal noise quietens down. And so many people that have done the practitioner course talk about that. So that was some of the benefit I had. And then I was able to do the same for other people. So I could hear their limiting beliefs. I could hear their internal dialogue. And then I was able to use my language skills to start to challenge that. We have a set of questions in NLP called meta model challenges. And these come from the work of a lady called Virginia Satir. And she noticed in the family therapy room that a lot of people, what we call globalize their problems. And oh my goodness, is it true in business as in every other context of life? And people would globalize their problems. The challenge is that while you try to help people find a solution to a globalized problem, you're on a bit of a fool's errand because it's globalized, it's ambiguous, it's up here. But if you can use meta model questions, which include things like how specifically, what specifically, whom specifically, etc., then what happens is you drill down into the problem to actually get to the nub of the problem, then find a solution to that problem, and then the person is off and running. I always use the example of a child, like a child that comes home from school and says, everybody hates me. As a parent, your probably immediate reaction is going to be, well, I don't hate you. So that's not true because not everybody hates you. But they're your child. You're their parent. Like, they're not really going to listen to you in that way. So you're much better off saying, okay, so what is it that leads you to think that everybody hates you? What's happened today? What specifically? And let's say, oh, well, Julie wouldn't sit next to me on the bus on the way home. Okay. And so what specifically led to that happening? Well, I tried to steal a sandwich at lunchtime. Okay. And what led up to that happening? And maybe it's, I don't know, she wouldn't let him copy in maths or something. Now, I know it's hypothetical, but if you try and solve the everybody hates me level, you'll be on a fool's errand. If you try and solve but copying in maths and stealing sandwiches is a very different level of problem. And I saw this happen in business. So people would come to me and say, but Laura, I'm useless. I'm a useless manager. I'm a useless presenter. So what specifically do you mean by that? Because if I try and help someone that comes to me and goes, yeah, but I'm useless, well, what exactly does that mean? Because useless is not particularly helpful. So we used to drill down, and I found that a really, really useful skill in HR, being able to help people get to the nub of the problem and then start to find a solution to that problem. I found that really, really helpful. Right, what else have we got here on this list? Decision-making strategies. Oh my goodness, that was so helpful. So in NLP, we have what we call strategy elicitation processes. Essentially, how we elicit how someone thinks. And I found that there was a way of informally eliciting the decision-making strategies of some of the board members that I needed to get signed off on some of the proposals that I wanted to put forward. And this isn't about trying to get people to sign up to things that they don't believe in or are not right. But apologies, that's the door. Hang on. Right, shush, shush, shush. Have to wait. So it's not about trying to get people to agree to things. People's values will always take charge. Oh my goodness, my dog. Hold on, sorry. Shush, please. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, that's enough. That's enough. Delivery driver at the front door, knocking the door, and the dog's going back. Apologies. I'm here for you, so the delivery's going to have to wait. So decision-making strategies and informally eliciting decision-making strategies was really useful because it enabled me to deliver information. Sorry, I'm distracted by the dog now. It enabled me to deliver information in such a way that it made it easier for someone to say yes or no to a proposal. So, for example, I might talk about how things might look different or how things might feel different in the organization if we did certain things. Understanding that was really, really helpful. On to the next page. I'm going to put the link later below this video so that you can check this out. I'm just going through, for those of you just joining, I'm just going through our course brochure for the practitioner course. And I'm just picking out all the things I found really helpful in my HR role. Back when I used to do it. Right, where are we? Conscious of time. So setting goals that worked. Yeah, for me personally, that was amazing because I talked about wanting to progress my career, but I needed to be really specific about what did that look like? What level did I want to get to? What kind of money did I want to earn? And it's surprising the difference that having a well-formed goal has for any career professional, because a lot of people talk about not being able to find clarity or purpose or feeling a bit lost or feeling like you're at a crossroads. And a lot of people go through life with kind of feeling like they're just a cork bobbing along on the sea. And that's not going to be helpful for anyone. So in terms of progression anyway. So actually what I did was got really crystal clear. Now we use a way of goal setting, which is based on a Harvard MBA graduate study back in 1979. And I'll tell you now, every single goal that I've set in that methodology has absolutely come to fruition within a margin of error, but it's surprising how that works. There's a piece of research called RAS, the Reticular Activating System, which you can go Google. And that talks about how the unconscious mind is always looking for a match. So if you've got a goal that's stated and there's a choice between A or B, the unconscious mind will choose the one that's closest to the goal because that's how it works. Now, most people get goal setting completely wrong. Most people write the goal for the conscious mind, not the unconscious mind. And it's the unconscious mind that is responsible for our behavior. And so behavior leads to action, action leads to results. So if you want to change the results in your career or your business or the people you're working with, it starts by changing the mindset. It starts by changing the behavior. And that starts by working with the unconscious mind. And I just found this hugely fascinating when I was back in HR, the difference it could make. Getting rid, it says on here, getting rid of emotional baggage to enable you to move forward in your life with no hindrance. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I found that, you know what it's like when you're starting off in your career, you're very eager, you very much want to prove yourself and things like that. And then all of a sudden you get put back and you get told no, and you don't get the promotions, you get overlooked for promotions, and it gets frustrating for some of us. And so I had quite a lot of emotional baggage. My very first boss, right back at the very start of my career, was really quite a bully, and I didn't see it at the time, and I was so eager to prove myself I just ignored it, whereas actually when I got rid of all of that baggage, like, she's gone, I don't work for her anymore, and she would argue she was pushing me to be the best version of myself, which I would agree, but how she did it was really challenging for me at the time. Right, presenting stuff. I mean, there's so much here about presenting that we cover on the practitioner course. Being in a state of curiosity, using different language patterns, all the way through to stances, formats, so much around that. Being able to manage your emotional state, that was really important to me when I was in HR. Sometimes you have to deal with quite sensitive issues, and other times I would have to, really manage my state when I was dealing with a difficult business partner I was working with. It made a big difference where I could just manage what we call manage my state. I could do my best to not get emotional, to not react, to not take things personally. And listen, I'll be the first to admit I'm work in progress, as we all are. But actually it made me much, much better able to do that. So if I was going in to do a very difficult conversation with an individual, I would really get myself into a good emotional state myself before I'd go in. And I didn't understand that before NLP. Reframing stuff, so starting to see things differently, seeing opportunity. Oh my goodness, I spent so much time when I was in HR helping other people to reframe their thinking, reframe how they look at things. There's two particular types of reframing in NLP: a content reframe and a context reframe. And content reframe is all about helping people to rediscover information that they thought perhaps was missing or they couldn't see. So if you take a picture, and if you could only see the bottom left-hand corner of that picture, you would have a different view of it than if you could see the whole thing. And so what sometimes happens is some people get really fixated on one part of a problem or one part of information. They lose the bigger picture. And so being able to help people see more of that, I found really, really helpful. And also context reframes, taking a skill or a behavior, and if it's not suitable in one context, looking at how it could be useful somewhere else. So I was constantly challenging people's thinking in HR, all around, helping them see things differently and learning some linguistic tools to do that. I could go on, there's so much in here. I think the long and short of it is this. NLP helped me as a professional get out of my own way. I used to suffer with imposter syndrome. I used to get nervous presenting, going to high-level meetings and things like that. And no one else would have known because I developed a really good mask, as a lot of us do to get on in business. And it didn't mean that inside there wasn't a little girl getting really uptight and really anxious and really stressed, but I couldn't afford to let anybody else see that. And so I learned to wear this mask at work. And so what happened was all of the problems were hidden. They were all in here and in here, and no one else would see. I mean, if you came to me as an HR professional, right, and said to me, Laura, I'm thinking about, restructuring my department, or I'm thinking about dismissing an employee, and I sit there and go, well, I'm not really quite sure what to do, but this, like, you're not going to have confidence in me. So I learned very early on that to be great in HR, I had to have confidence, and I had to exude confidence in my role. And so sometimes I would give advice and I would be like, I'm not sure if that's really the right advice, but I've delivered it with conviction and confidence, and the manager's taken on board the advice I've given. But what I did know was if it didn't work out as I had planned, I knew enough to be able to save it and to get it right. So that's what I mean by imposter syndrome, that piece inside of me that was never really 100% sure, but I still delivered with conviction. And so when you get rid of the internal stuff, the internal dialogue that I'm not sure, I don't sure if I believe in myself, so many people have this imposter syndrome, fear of being found out. And I was so grateful when that finally went. And that was on the NLP course. So there's the whole beliefs I had, the values I had, the thinking I had, and how that held me all back. And there's an exercise we do on the practitioner course, which I'm going to very quickly share with you. And that is, we get someone to stand with their arm out parallel, can't do this on camera, and we get them to hold it up, and we apply pressure to their wrist, and we get them to say out loud, I can. And as we do that, we apply pressure and see how well they resist. We change the internal dialogue to I can't, and apply the same pressure to the wrist, and usually the wrist will drop. And that shows people the power of what you tell yourself on your performance. So in my case, I was going around with this great big mask on, going, I can do it. But inside I was actually going, I can't do it. And a lot of us are like that. The problem is this: you'll make yourself do it. You'll make yourself do all of the things, However, the problem is you're working against your unconscious mind, because if the program you're running in your head is going, I can't, and you're going, yes, but I can, I tell you which part of your mind will win, and it's that I can't, and that will impact your performance. So these are some of the personal benefits I got from NLP when I was in HR. But then there is a whole host of benefits for my profession, making me more influential, making me build deeper levels of rapport with people, making me better at questioning things, making me a better presenter, making me a better leader, a better coach, understanding others better. And I tell you, once I'd done the NLP practitioner course, people commented on the difference in me. They commented on the difference in the way that I was professionally doing my job. And it made a massive, massive difference. And that's why, because of my story, and I've just shared a snippet with you today, obviously, I'm conscious of time. I need to wrap up and go. But I'm conscious that I can only give you a snippet in these short videos, but I really hope that it helps you to get an appreciation of just what a difference these kind of NLP practitioner courses can give you professionally and personally in terms of your development and your ability to be effective at the role that you do. If you want to know more about what NLP can do for you in your career and in your business, or in your life in general, then click the link. As I said earlier, I'll put the course brochure link below this video so that you can go and check it out. All the courses that we offer are in here. Go and find the practitioner page. It looks like this. And then inside, then after that, you'll see all of these. Now, it's a PDF when you access it, so you'll be able to watch the videos and things in here as well. We have an NLP practitioner course coming up now, looking at the calendar, from the 7th to the 13th of November. If you are interested in coming and learning NLP and doing your first certified level in NLP training, then drop us an email, info@unleashyourpotential.org.uk, or give us a call, 02920 023311. That's 02920. No, 02920. Oh, see, I get all tongue-tied. Hold on. 02920 023311. You know what it's like when you don't ring your own number? So that's the number. Get in contact. We'll gladly send you some more details about the practitioner course. I think if you are in any kind of professional role, HR, L&D, finance, IT, operations, customer service, if you are a middle or senior manager in any of those professional functions within an organization, I'm pretty sure that you're going to get huge value out of a course like this, like I did, and like the hundreds of other people that I have trained. If you run a small business or a larger business, equally, I know you're going to find this really, really useful. So do get in touch if this is resonating with you. And I look forward to seeing you again on another video. Drop any questions you have below and I will gladly reply to them. Take care. See you soon.